Etapu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, haru nefer. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about you are born to be a winner. But before we go into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. This is your first time to my channel. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. To get notifications of when we go live or when we upload recorded videos. Also, we have free ebooks for you. You can scroll down below, click on the links, and download the ebook today and start reading. If you want to take your spiritual knowledge to the next level, become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, $20 per month. You will get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that show you how to meditate, how to properly breathe, how to invoke spirits and the ancestors, how to do self-hypnosis to curb overeating and all other negative habits. And also you get your readings, if you're an Osir level contributor, free. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So I want to talk to you today about the chief means for you to become a winner. How do you become a winner? You know, this is one of the cards I love in the tarot. The Nine of Cups shows a person sitting there happy amongst all of those cups, because happiness is what we seek in life. Really, we seek peace, that state of Amen, state of nirvana, and we get there by facing challenges. You see, you're not going to be able to avoid challenges in life. It doesn't happen that way. I can give you all the magical formulas and all the magical knowledge there is, and you are still not going to be able to avoid obstructions and challenges. Aleister Crowley, they say the evilest man on the planet, died. And one of the things he said on his deathbed was, I am perplexed. He went through a lot of challenges. He was wealthy, had a lot of money, lost it, had different wives. A lot of things happened. So I want you to understand, just because you possess magical knowledge does not mean that you're not going to be facing challenges and obstacles. And many times they will come and blindside you. But take comfort in knowing you are meant to be a leader. You see, when I went to school and had so much trouble socially, trouble academically, and if I just had magic, everything would be different. You see, magic gives you an advantage. It helps you in so many ways. You see, for me, magic has taken me from a left brain thinker to a holistic brain thinker, a whole brain thinker, so I can see things from a bigger picture perspective. And when I went to the high priestess to do a reading, she says that the deity that governs you is Ma'at, means you're going to have a big picture view of things. And where most people will be caught up in the details and the weeds, you'll be able to see the bigger picture. So I want you to understand that magic is not just about, or what you may think is a way to cheat or get around things. It is going to arm you. It is going to make you more intelligent, more, we could say the word intellectually cunning, if you want to use that. But it will make you a complete being. It will help you. See, because we have on the tree of life, we have the different faculties. And we have the Sebek faculty of logic, cunningness. We have the Ma faculty, morality, truth. We have Tehuti, wisdom. We have Sekhet, spiritual power. We have Arukuhuti, divine justice. We have Aset, devotion. So you have these different faculties within you that you are nourishing so that you can become a whole being, so you can come complete. Too many people go throughout their lives and they focus on one thing and leave the others in the background and never become a whole complete being. They never come into the realization of their true potential. And I just want you to also know that magic takes practice. Some people will do a magical formula and then suddenly they think, oh, it's not working, so I'm going to move on to something else. You know, I may experiment with Yoruba or maybe Santeria. Stick with whatever you have. You make it work. You see, if you are a winner, you will take what you have. And I want you to focus on what you're good at within that magical practice. You see, no one ever told me this. When I went to school, I had problems paying attention. You know, so I would not really pass the tests. I was not socializing with people. So because you're in a left brain society, they're quick to label and define you and put you in a box, but they never tell you this. And this is where you get most savants from. If you are good in one thing, if you excel in one thing, it could be to the detriment of others, meaning that if you're good at mathematics, you may be bad at socializing and verbal communication. So, but that's okay because you excel in mathematics. So while I had trouble paying attention in class, I was writing scripts and stories and producing films. I was writing articles that were getting published. You see, so there were talents that I had that wasn't recognized by the academic community at that point. But now they've come a long way into understanding that people who may have trouble in certain areas do excel in others. And they need to focus on what they're good at and accentuate that. So what am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to tell you is that you are not a failure. If you're working on a magical formula or mantra and it doesn't work, it is not the magical system or the mantra that's the problem. I want you to take a bigger picture look at what's going on. You see, many times in magic, you need momentum. You need to build up the energy. So you need to practice, 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 or keep doing the ritual till the necessary energy builds up. Or it may be that you are putting that in the bank because the cycle is not right. But when the right cycle comes along, there will be an explosion of that energy. So the mere fact that you are listening to me and you're practicing magic tells me you have a talent for this. Tells me that you are a winner. So I want you to start focusing more on this because this is what you were born to do. This makes you a winner. You may not be good in academics. You may not be good socially. But this you can be good in. This you can excel in. If you apply yourself, people started to come to me for magical knowledge, even though I was in priesthood. You had priesthood members who were in the priesthood years before me, and years, they've been there. And I had just started, been there about 4 or 5 years, and they were coming to me for spiritual secrets, knowledge. That was because I realized that, hey, you know what? I like this. This is what I can focus on. This is something I can be good at. You see, those people who, and I don't want to pick on the academic community, but those people who excel, so-called in the left brain skills, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have wisdom, but they're smart. It doesn't mean that. But our society is so corrupt and backwards. We attribute anybody who has good memory or memorization as being intelligent. We equate anybody who has good verbal communication, who's good orator, as being smart. And we become deceived by these people. Look at the Christian church, deceived by pimp pastors who take their money just because they can speak eloquently. Now, when you are in these challenging situations in life, I want you to know that you have something to fall back on that no one else has. You see, the higher learning institutions will prepare you for corporate America, for the job world, but they cannot prepare you for life. Magic prepares you for life. Because there are things that are going to come at you that you're not schooled in, that you haven't been taught to deal with. And when you have studied the occult, the Egyptian mystery system, you're going to know how to adequately deal with something. And as Uruku Huti says, he makes a way where there is no way. You have to become that warrior. You have to become that winner. When you're facing that challenge, you bring out the magic. And if the magic doesn't respond or you don't see results at first, wash, rinse, and repeat. Keep doing it. Don't give up. It works. As I said, it may not be the right cycle, or you may need to repeat the ritual to build up the energy necessary. Sometimes you need a lot of energy to accomplish certain things. The other day, I saw that I wasn't getting the results that I needed, and I said to myself, well, I got to do more rituals. I got to meditate for longer, or maybe I need a new mantra, or maybe I need a new visualization. But stop following the Western world's way of success. They get you in the room. You have Anthony Robbins stand up there, and he'll recite some bull crap and motivate you for a couple of minutes. And then 2 days later, you're back to your old self. This is not about motivation like that. This is not about book learning. This is about a spiritual way where you can manipulate the physical forces around you. This is about real tangible results if you apply yourself to it. When I encounter an obstruction, like the other day, there was some computer code that I wasn't familiar with. I said, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? I don't know what this computer code is. I said, I'm going to go into trance, access the Akashic records, and get the knowledge of what that computer code is about. And I did. Because you have access to power. This is how God made you, to be a winner. You're not just supposed to let things transpire and unfold the way you think they're supposed to. That's a Western world way of thinking. You're supposed to pull out your magical bag of tricks and say, what mantra do I need for this situation? What visualization, what ritual do I need? What candle color do I need? And then work your magic to transform the reality that aligns with your wishes. And the one thing that you must learn to do is do not accept reality for what it is. Deny the current reality that is before you because it doesn't align with what you want. That is the first step. Because when you are faced with a challenge, what reality is really saying to you is this saying, listen, Harmony, listen, Jeff, is this the current reality that you want? If so, accept this, believe in it, and go accordingly. But if it's not, then you deny it. You say that what is happening before me doesn't exist. It is not taking place. It is Maya. It's an illusion. And then you go about visualizing what you want, and you hold on to that visualization, and you do your meditation, your ritual, your mantra, whatever it is. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it until you see the signs that reality is changing. But you do not accept it if it doesn't align with your wishes. Now, many of you have heard me talk a lot about the left brain and Zebek and all that, but they are necessary tools. They're part of your being. And the other day I had a little girl was talking about how she was having some difficulty in one of her classes. And I gave the mother a mantra. I said, have her recite this mantra and work with this. That's how we do things. And I wish to God I had this knowledge back when I was in school. I would have excelled, but I didn't. But that's okay. It comes at the right time, because now I am in a position to help others. So keep that in mind. And by the way, the little girl, she went on to get into a accelerated class in the UK. So she is doing well. In fact, she did an interview, and they videotaped her, and her mother said that she'd never heard her speak so eloquently before. I said, So I want you to know that our ancestors practiced things like possession, where they were possessed different spirits. And when you can possess those intelligences, those spirits that will give you secret knowledge in different areas, that will help you in times of need. And all this is part of your culture. This is part of your heritage to win. When I encounter a challenge, I say, what do I need to get past this? I don't accept it. I don't give up. I go to my oracle and say, what's the mantra? What's the ritual? And the most important thing is I don't make agreements. You see, we've done the wrong thing in this world. We've seen that this world is evil, and we've made an agreement with this world just to get along. There's no agreements. Something is wrong, something is evil, and it must be brought to justice, and it must be torn down like the tower in the tarot. You can't work hand in hand with evil. You see, you're going to have people in your life. They're going to find out that you're practicing this spiritual stuff. And then they're going to decide to disassociate themselves from you. It's okay, because you're not going to be able to align with them and follow them on their path because they're accepting of the current established quo or status quo, and they're going along with it. But you're not. You're like, listen, you can follow along. You can think that things will change because there's a new president. You can think that our government is out for our best interest. You can think that the pharmaceutical company has our best interest in hand. But I do not subscribe to that. I know evil when I see it, so I'm going to walk a different path. I'm going to create a reality for myself. And I would love to be your friend, or we're family. But if you choose to excommunicate me, that is on you. And this is what's going to have to happen when you start walking this path of the Hierophant and the Tarot. You're going to be alone because you are choosing Ma'at, truth. People will say, Qesankh is into that meditation stuff, the hypnosis stuff. I don't care what they say. I know what's truth. I know that the world is Maya, an illusion, and that they only really think what I want them to think because they're avatars. They are holographic projections of aspects of my thought process, which are coming up as doubt. See, I'm doubting myself, so I create these avatars to mirror that back to me so I can get in line and become more faithful and more focused and more dedicated. I know they don't really exist. But reality sometimes has to remind me that I still have wayward and backwards belief systems. That if I don't check these belief systems, they're going to come up and bite me in the ass in the form of family and friends who are going to betray me. So I have to become more. Do you know when I counsel people in relationships, especially the men, and they say, my mate is different, she's acting different, or, he's acting different. I said, because you're not firm in your belief system. You're not focused on what you're doing. Therefore, she or he is reflecting back those ideas and beliefs that are shaking within you that are not firm and solidified. My teacher once told me, you can't be half a gangster. You can't be half a magician. You go all in or you don't. You can't be half married. You're all in or you're not. Do you understand that? And if you are not all in, if you're not focused and you're not committed, then you, as God man, God woman, will create an avatar in the form of your cousin, your father, your mother, who will challenge your belief systems, who will make fun of you and ridicule you. But that is only yourself mirroring back to you the doubts that you harbor. So the thing that you need to do is not to debate with them, but to make a concerted effort to become more focused and more dedicated and do your ritual, do your meditation, recite your mantra. You cannot interact with something that you are not on the vibrational frequency of. Let me say it again. You cannot interact with something you are not on the same vibrational frequency of. If they are talking to you and ridiculing you, then there is some aspect within you that is not committed to the cause of your spiritual upliftment. Do you understand that? Hetepo, Jason, how you doing? You must understand magic from a broader perspective. Too many of those in the Wiccan community and the occult community have done a great job with magic, but focused on the minute. Our ancestors were masters of reading omens, signs, symbols. But here, yes, we understand about those things, but then we negate the very people that are around us as living signs and symbols. They communicate to us things that are going on in our mind. You ever think of something and that person says it? That's not by coincidence. That's a synchronicity. That's because you created your mate. You created your father through the holographic experience, the 4D realm. You created them. So you can have a interaction with yourself. So that you can interact with yourself. So you're never going to say to yourself, Qesankh, you have doubts in your magical power. You're not going to say that. So the spirit within you will create a situation scenario where your cousin will come to you and say, you really believe in that magical mumbo jumbo stuff? And then you blame and get upset at a holograph. They're not real. And you're upset at them? No, you get upset at yourself. Say, wow, why am I not committed? Why am I not focused more? Because to argue with somebody else is to argue with yourself, because they don't exist. They're merely players in this video game. Do you understand? You are the only one that exists in your reality. Everything else is your creation so that you can interact with it to have an experience. None of this exists. You must understand that. The goal of your incarnations is to learn, to master, to manipulate the matrix. It is not to get out of the matrix, because you're never going to get out the matrix. You can forget that. That's not going to happen. Your goal is to learn to manipulate the matrix, to create the heaven on earth, to understand your power, to come into a realization of yourself. Now, some who I think were really, really on the right path, but they got half of it right, would say the goal of life is nirvana, to be at peace. And that is true. That is true. But we cannot leave out that the way that you get to that peace is through exercising your spiritual powers, to meeting these challenges head on and overcoming them. That is, you cannot go into the mountains and meditate for years and years and think you're going to come out and be at peace and nirvana. It doesn't work that way, because that's like the equivalent of you going into a gym and sitting there for years and years and years and thinking you're going to come out buff like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It doesn't work that way. You've got to work out. You got to go to the gym and work out if you want to be like Terminator. So if you want to be a spiritual practitioner of the highest order, you've got to face challenges and learn to work your magic. You're not going to ascend to the throne of Kemet or Egypt by merely theoretical studies and just reading books. When a challenge comes up, you're going to have to put a mantra together. You're going to have to go to an oracle. You're going to have to do a ritual. And doing all of this, you will learn and you will grow. Do you understand? don't just say, oh, invoke a spirit just so you can see a spirit materialize in front of you and go, oh, cool. No, in doing that, you grow when you understand an aspect of your power and who you are. You also understand that there is an afterlife. And then you start using that as a means to communicate with different spirits to bring you knowledge and wisdom. You go to the spirit and you say, listen, I got this challenge going on, My boss is driving me crazy. Please tell me how to deal with that, or can you handle that situation for me? And I want to alert you to something that's very prevalent in our modern day. And I've seen it many, many times where you may go to a babalao, a priest or priestess, and they may go, oh, you have some negative energy around you. And we can do for $1,000, we can do a ritual, get rid of that negative energy. For one thing, most of these charlatans you go to are going to say you've got negative energy. That's their way of roping you in. And then once you pay them some money to do the ritual, and they'll go out there and buy things to do the ritual for you. And once they get rid of that negative energy, they'll tell you, oh, well, you also have this negative spirit. So there's an upsell to it. There's an upsell. And then what you find is you get in deep. $1,000 here, $500 here, $700 here. Before you know it, you spent $10,000 to get rid of negative energies and spirits. All this that you could have done on your own. See, I don't worry about that nonsense, negative energy and all that, because you see, when you are working the tree of life, the Port Netalu, and you are doing the meditations frequently, you are purging your spirit of negative energy. You are doing the work yourself. When I invoke spirits, I invoke the light beings, and the light beings give me counsel. When I go to the Metu Neta Oracle, where's my Metu Neta Oracle? Have you seen that? The Metu Neta Oracle, whatever. There's a card that's the Dark Deceased, and many people are afraid to get that Dark Deceased card. I'm like, you ain't gotta be worried. Because if you are not operating on that vibrational frequency, what are you worried about? I don't go around thinking dark thoughts. I'm a very positive, optimistic person. Maat is optimistic. She's my patron deity. She's the goddess that rules my life. And I also practice the technique of going dark, meaning I never consider negative outcomes. I'm always looking at the positive side of things. You see, my beloved, when you are meditating daily and seeing yourself righteous, when you are focused on becoming one with God, you're not going to have any negative energy around you. Where would the hell that come from? But see, our brothers and sisters from the islands who have practiced the Yoruba, the Santeria, the Budun, have come here from very, very impoverished circumstances. And they know they can get over on you. Not all of them. You have a lot of them that are very, very good practitioners, and they are outstanding. But there are some you have to be careful of to rope you in, you see? But I want you to know this idea of negative energy, you can purge your own self of that. If you are doing the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which is the breathing technique to higher spiritual levels, and you're not breathing on the animal level, then you have nothing to worry about. If I am invoking spirits and ancestors who are righteous and who are loving, and I'm working with them, I I have no problem. I'm walking down the street and this woman in a tarot place comes out and she says, would you like a tarot reading? I said, no, thank you. She says, well, you should get one because I see something good for you. I said, I know I got good stuff coming to me because I do the work. I do the spiritual work. Do you understand? And when you are at that level of when you are becoming one with God, because that's the idea, to become Oser, to become God, then you're going to find that there's a transformation in all of your friends and family members. They're going to start to align to your thinking because your energy is so powerful. When you start meditating for 3 or 4 hours a day on the ascension to God state, Christ consciousness, you're going to be a powerful being. Do you understand? You're going to be a winner. And you don't need nobody to tell you, I see good things for you in the cards. No, I know there's good things for me in the cards. And no matter if a challenge just come, I have the magical acuity to deal with it. Do you understand? And while we're on that topic, this is a good thing to talk about because the goddess Heru Hathor teaches us that joy is in the journey and not the destination. So no matter what happens, you be joyful. You be joyful. Challenge comes. I do the ritual. I don't see anything work. I'm still joyful. And I do the ritual again. I wash, rinse, and repeat. I'm still joyful. Because you see, reality responds to your highest excitement. And when you maintain the joy in spite of what you see in front of you, you are communicating to reality, I don't want this reality. I want the one that I'm joyful about. And then slowly but surely through synchronicities, you'll start to see things change and you will shift to a parallel reality, one that's conducive to your liking. But you must maintain that joy. You must not give up hope, even in the face of the adversity. And you must understand, and here's a powerful principle you must adapt and understand. Magic works indirectly. And it doesn't always give you a one-to-one correlation. It doesn't always give you what you want. You may be in the desert and you will be like, damn, I wish I got a bottle of water. It's so hot. It's so hot. Next thing you know, it rains. The goal was met, maybe not in the form you wanted it, in the bottle of water, but the rain came. I want me a handsome man, 6 feet tall, with 6-pack abs. You get a man who's 5'7", but he loves you to death and will treat you right for the rest of your life. That's how magic works. Do you understand? Stop thinking concrete all the time. Person needs a job. They need about $20,000 to start a business, not a job. $20,000 to start a business. They're trying to get investors. Well, they get a freelance job that pays them $20,000. Well, you didn't get the investor, but you got a job to give you $20,000. That's how magic works. So understand, and part of the thing is too, to be honest with you, the stronger your belief and the more joy you have, the more powerful the magic that you can produce. Do you understand that? There's a formula to this. There's a formula. And you're an initiate, right? You're young, you're an initiate. Uh-oh. So I understand that you may have not seen spirits. I've seen them. You may have not seen interdimensional beings. You may not have astral travel to different dimensions. So a lot of this is hard for you to swallow. But I guarantee you, if you start on the path and you see your first, what do you call it? Your first extraordinary thing or paranormal thing, you're going to be a believer. It's going to turn you around. And you're going to be like, wow, this stuff is real. And you're going to know that everything you've been told in this lifetime is a lie. I know I was doing magic once. This inadvertently happened because, my mentors would tell me, Qesankh, be very careful of what you visualize. You are a very powerful manifester. Things will manifest for you very quickly. So I would do my meditations, and every now and then I would be sneaky, and I would visualize some hot, pretty girl jumping, putting her arms around me and kissing me and making out with me. But there's just a little fantasy I had. A brother can fantasize, can't he? You know what I mean? But forgetting what a powerful manifester I was, I had my friend, he's a Jewish Russian, very, very great guy in New York. He says, calls me, let's go to a club. We're going to chill out, go to a club. I was like, all right, let's go. I'm down for it. So I'm walking in the club. The club has 2 floors. We go downstairs walking. And I just happen to catch this girl catches my eye. I'm like, oh, she's cute. And all of a sudden, I know she runs up to me, wraps her arms around me, and starts kissing me. So I just went along with it, So after that, and you can't blame her, when you're the hottest thing in the club, And Qesankh could be a little slow sometime. I could be a little slow sometime. So I'm, on the train going home, just like thinking, it's a cool day, And then I realized, wait a minute, that girl jumped on me for no reason out of nowhere and started kissing me exactly how I meditated and saw it in my visualization. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful. And I remember I was working with this consulting job in LA, and I was only staying there for a short period. And I would stay up late to work on another project, a personal project, and come to work late. And I always remember meditating, and I couldn't control myself. And I always would see my boss walking by right after I would get off the elevator at 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm supposed to be there at 9, right? And I was like, I got to stop visualizing that because it was a fear. I was a fear because you manifest fear, right? So when I would go to work, especially when I would get there late, as soon as those elevator doors opened, she would walk right by. And I was like, wow. And it happened consecutively. And I knew I was manifesting that situation. I said, oh my God, I got to stop visualizing that because I'm manifesting the situation. I'm like, what are the coincidences 5 times in a row that I would get there at different times, 10:20, 10:30, 10:40, and she would be walking by at that time. Sometimes she would see me, sometimes she wouldn't, but there's nothing she can do. I'm a consultant, so she can't dictate what hours I come to work, but as long as I get the job done. But it was just an example of how it works. You see, when you are fearful of something, that can be just as powerful as the pleasure aspect. You understand? That's how magic works. So be careful what you visualize, all right? And some things manifest quicker than others. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, you could have a belief system that aligns with it. Or number two, you've been preconditioned through society to accept that possibility can happen. As I've talked before in previous videos, I can give you a ritual to manifest $100. You can believe that you're walking down the street and you'll see $50 or maybe $100 on the floor and pick it up. You can manifest that. You will believe that. But if I say you're going to see a bag full of $100,000, that's violates many people's belief systems. They don't believe it's a great jump and leap of faith for them to believe that they can walk on the street and see a bag of $100,000, even though there's really no difference between seeing a bag of $100,000 and seeing $50. There's no difference in that, really. But your belief system has set up to think one is an impossibility. And that's because we're brought up in a Western society which conditions us to certain beliefs, which hampers your magic from manifesting in certain ways. So keep that in mind. Understand that. So let me answer this question because it's a very good question. Is the ritual also the actions done in joy? I want you to understand that when I say a ritual, I could mean a literal ritual that you do, or meditation, or just reciting a mantra. Whatever it is your belief system is, if you think that you can do this by just reciting a mantra, then more power to you. Just recite the mantra. But as I said before previously, there's some things that will require more energy. And for that, you will need to do a full-blown ritual, if you understand what I'm saying, So you just think about that, If I want to manifest a mansion, that may require me doing a ritual versus me just manifesting an apartment where I could probably just recite a couple of mantras and do a couple of visualizations to get the apartment. But to get a full-blown mansion, I may actually need to do a ritual on that, So just keep that in mind. But the techniques that I'm outlining for you are designed to be quick and easy. And I talk about the micro meditations where you take 5 minutes out throughout the day and you visualize and you empower the visualization with joy and emotion. So you can do those micro meditations to help you to manifest what you're looking for, And it's not complicated, but I do advise that you go to the Meduniter Oracle first to see if it's within your destiny to achieve certain things. For example, my little girl in the UK, when she wanted to excel in the subject matter, I did the readings for her. I went to the Meduniter and I said, what reading would facilitate her getting into the program, So those are things you got to do, And then, she's open at a very early age to magic. So it wasn't difficult to convince her mom to help her to do the process of the meditations and the mantra, reciting the mantra, you know what I mean? And it's going to be very good for her because at an early age, her the brain is still forming and she's going to be better in terms of her belief systems because she's adapting to a non-Western way of thinking. So it's going to help her. So I want you to know that, listen, this magic is like chipping away at a wall. The wall is the Western belief system, and you're chipping away at it. And eventually you're going to get through it. But you got to practice it. You can't just think it, I'll do this once and then voila, my life will change. It doesn't necessarily work that way. It can if your belief system is strong enough, but to be that winner, to be the person you're supposed to be, God man, God woman, it's going to take a certain amount of practice, whether it keeps chanting, don't give up. Don't give up. You're part of a special team here, and you're getting privileged knowledge. And this is not about intellectual understanding or book learning. It's about application. You got to apply what I'm talking about, and you're going to see wonders. Look at this card. Change. I got this card. Change. That's an omen. That's a good sign. It means your life is going to change if you apply magic. Look at this card. Unexpected income. These things will happen for you if you wash, rinse, repeat. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. 5 is Haruka Huti's number. What does Haruka Huti say? I make a way where there is no way. Nothing can stop me. I am a warrior. You all are warriors. You are spiritual warriors. You have the Portnet Teru, the company of the gods behind you. You ain't got just one God. You got 11 behind you. You ain't just got 11 gods. You got the ancestors behind you. You ain't just got the ancestors behind you. You have interdimensional beings that are backing you up. They got your back. So, work with this Western world, yes. Get in there, infiltrate it, work it to your advantage. But then when Harvard closes the door and Harvard says, oh, our academic institution is for those who are academically inclined and you do not meet the criteria of a Harvard student, then you say, hold on. And you go back and you do your ritual. And then the next thing you know, you come back and then it says, Jason, sorry, Jason, we made an error. It seems that you excel in areas of science. And, we think that you are ripe for Yale, but not only Yale, but MIT. So we can make a recommendation to MIT to allow you in as well. You have the pick. All based on your magic, on the ritual you did. You see? That makes you the winner. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Hope this message resonates with you. If you get an opportunity, please donate to the channel. It helps for me to write more ebooks and to keep things going. Until my next broadcast, this is Qesankh Keperu, son of Ma and Tahuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Till my next broadcast, I'm in Ra.